Let's move to 4 p.m. on Saturday on ABC. The SEC Championship. They play this one, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. We've got Georgia 11-1. We've got Alabama 10-2. Georgia is favored by 2.5, 3 points. Depends where you look. Remember, these teams played earlier in the year, same week as Penn State and Oregon, the same week as Indiana, Iowa. There were a bunch of big games that week. It was a huge week. Week 6, I want to say.
Yep.
24-21 was your final. Alabama won that one. Alabama has won the last 3 meetings between these two teams. All 3 have been one-score affairs. So for whatever it's worth, it would at least seem like we're in for another barn burner here.
Yes.
How do you feel?
I think I like Georgia. Kirby never beats Bama, but a lot of that is Nick Saban. Bama didn't do anything in the second half this year and held on for the win. Also, Bama since the Tennessee game hasn't been a team I would say is in constant control.
Yeah, that's and I know Bill Connolly has written about this a little bit.
Yeah.
And you and I spoke to it on occasion when we have covered Alabama games here over the last couple of weeks, but there's been something of a diminishing return on that passing offense. It's still very good. Ty Simpson's been amazing. And that's still the primary way that they are moving the football, that they are scoring points and all that. I mean, passing game for them is where it's at, but it hasn't been nearly as efficient back half of the season as it was earlier in the year.
Yeah. I mean, did Ryan Williams have a catch in the Iron Bowl? I don't think he did he? You can fact check me on that. I don't know how much he was even targeted in that game. I don't know. There's something that feels, and I like Ty Simpson. I like a lot of these receiving options. Obviously, there's a ton on this defense to like. It was a good game plan from the Auburn defense for sure. The game got chaotic, as a lot of Iron Bowls do. I just haven't gotten the sense in the back half of the schedule, again, since that Tennessee game, that Alabama's played with a ton of control. The LSU game was chaotic. Obviously, the South Carolina game needed a lot at the end of the game to happen and transpire for Alabama to win that game.
Yeah.
I think Alabama's really good. I think there's a certain degree of trust I have, even with Kirby Smart basically never beat. He beat him in a national championship, so that counts. But his record against Alabama is not great. I think in Atlanta, I think that was definitely a low point for Gunnar Stockton. I think there's a great bounce back opportunity for him after last week. I think there was obviously baggage going into that game with how that game went last year. It's kind of a letdown spot for both of these teams after last week. I'm going Georgia because I just trust more about them in this moment, but I'm not confident in it.
I don't believe any targets, certainly no catches for Ryan Williams a week ago.
Okay.
So I think you're right about that. Let me give a shout out to our friends over at Game on Paper.
Please.
Game on Paper. They do an awesome job showing you pretty much every stat in real time. If you're watching a game, if you want to go back after the fact and find a game, you can go and find all this stuff there. One of my favorite things that they do on their site is if you load it up, if you scroll all the way down on the first tab, they have a section for what they call most important plays. And it's really just a measure of which plays throughout the course of the game swung the win probability the most. Most important plays. Of the 10 plays that they highlighted the first game between these two teams, 8 of them were on the Georgia side.
Yeah.
Georgia created more explosives in the game as well. Their problem was basically they couldn't get Ty Simpson off the field. He had a very clean game through the air. Bama, on the whole, was something like 13 of 19 on third downs. They had almost 10 more minutes of possession. Their defense was good enough to force 19 third down attempts on the Georgia side. The defense was good enough to force 19 third down attempts on the Georgia side, but they just were not good enough to get Alabama off the field, is what I'm trying to say. I don't think Alabama's going to win either. I think I'm with you on that front. I don't think they're going to get 4 straight on Kirby Smart. I feel like Georgia has gotten better as the season has progressed. I don't feel the same about Alabama. And I think Kirby's going to learn a lot from how Oklahoma attacked Alabama, from how Auburn last week attacked Alabama. I am leaving a bit to assumption here, and we've already outlined the dangers in leaving things to assumption. So
sure,
forgive me a little bit. Indulge me if you could. But I expect that Georgia is going to have a better plan this time around for getting off the field. And I hope that maybe that Texas game that we saw a few weeks ago that we referenced earlier in the episode, for me, that was something of a proof of concept. Not nearly as good on offense. I get that. But it was very telegraphed that Texas could only win through the air. And Georgia knew it, and they held them to 2 of 12 on third downs. They were much better about getting off the field. They won that game going away. So I am expecting something of a step up here from Georgia, both on defense as well as on offense. And I think the game plan needs to lean a little bit more into what Gunnar Stockton gives them. Gunnar Stockton might be the best big game player in this matchup. He just finds ways to get things done. I think the comparisons from time to time to Stetson Bennett are very apt. The guy he's a magician. I think, again, they're going to be able to run it like they did the first time around. I think they need to put Gunnar in more situations where he can create. I think they'll find ways to do that. And I think Georgia ends up winning this one. I think it's like 31-21. I got the Dogs coming out here as SEC champs again.
Tinfoil Dan, much better for the SEC if Alabama wins, right?
Oh, it definitely is.
Tinfoil Dan really loves Bama here. I don't know if I am speaking as Tinfoil Dan in this moment, but I don't know if weird calls are going in Georgia's favor in this one.
Oh, man. You're really kicking a hornet's nest there. I like it. I'm all in favor of this.
I've just watched the SEC these past 15 years, 17 years, 20 years, 30 years, 40, however many years of my life. I mean, late 30s, early 40s. Let's be clear. I'm just saying Tinfoil Dan is on the record now saying it's much better for the SEC. It's much better for the SEC's broadcast partners if Alabama wins this game. And also Georgia's like, how much do they care if they lose this game with regard to the playoff? Georgia always wants to win the SEC, of course. But with regard to the playoff, getting that 5-6, getting a home game, it's not the worst.
I mean, right now, if they win, they're probably in line for a first round bye.
No, I know, but I'm saying if you are the type that believes getting that
what does that
opening
mean
weekend and avoiding the bye, getting the 5-12, getting potentially Texas Tech, who knows? And I don't know if you want Texas Tech, but I'm saying of your options.
I mean, there's a chance if you lose, you could end up not hosting a game. There's a chance. I don't think it's a good chance, but
you think 11-2 Georgia is falling to the point where they're not?
It might fall below Oklahoma. Right now, Oklahoma is 8.
Oh,
it depends.
Know, man.
It depends how the committee feels about, how badly somebody like Georgia were to lose. I mean, Georgia just
first of all, they beat a playoff team in Ole Miss.
I'm not saying this is likely, Dan. I'm just saying it's
telling
possible.
You, they stomped a Texas team that beat Oklahoma 23-6.
I know.
It's a difficult case.
You want to be tinfoil Dan? I'll be tinfoil Ty. It's possible.
Okay.